Welcome back to the Free Speech Forum podcast. Today we're going to be talking the Havana Syndrome and rogue directed energy attacks. Yeah, so my name's Brooks. We got John here. John's the
What
expert
up?
here on Havana Syndrome, so why don't you kick us off, man?
The Havana Syndrome, it's an interesting effect. People claim maybe there's RF energy impacting people, humans, electromagnetic energy. There's a lot of discussion that's been in the news over the years. And I think Joe Rogan talked about it on his podcast, right?
Yeah, we got a video right here. Let's check that out.
Havana Syndrome.
Havana Syndrome.
Because whatever it was, what they were really terrified of was that someone was going to be able to just fuck with people's heads from a distance. So you could point it at the president while he's giving a speech. You could point it at a race car driver in the middle of a turn. You could do whatever you want. And if that really came to be, where you can just fuck with someone's head, they said the panel focused on cases in which victims heard a strange sound or felt pressure and then experienced a loss of balance and ear pain. In addition, the panel focused on cases in which the victims reported the sounds as coming from a specific location. Whoa.
So spooky.
Whoa.
Fucking spooky, man.
That's wild shit, dude. They can just fuck with your brain to
turn you off.
Now, if they can do that, why can't they do that with an electric bolt that kills you? I bet they can.
They could.
I bet they will be able to.
That's the scary thing. Whatever way you could think of to kill people, they will eventually invent it.
Well, think of before the gun. It was pretty hard to kill someone. Now you can kill someone a half a mile away
You gotta
with
use
a
a
rifle.
rock.
Well, the fact is here, it's the silent killer, and it's nothing new, right?
Right. So I have a master's degree in radar, bachelor's degree in electrical engineering, and I've got a book here. You can't really see it, but it's The Nature of Electromagnetic Field Interactions with Biological Systems, and it's by Allan Frey. So the previous job, I had to do some work trying to determine if this piece of technology we were developing could potentially be harmful to people in the room. And so I found all these papers, and that's kind of what led me to this book and Allan Frey. And so Frey, 50 years ago, found out that there were some soldiers working next to a radar, and they would hear this ringing in their ears, even though there was no sound. And so he ended up finding out that the waveforms coming out of that radar were a certain frequency that was able to vibrate the cochlea inside their ear. And so all of a sudden he starts doing all these studies. And there's a lot of information out there about how high RF energy can have negative effects on people. We know that microwaves can, cook things. And I think in Rogan, they were saying there's some high power devices. But what Allan Frey found out is actually there's some very low power electromagnetic waveforms that can affect people. So we're talking, in general, the FDA allows 5 milliwatts per centimeter cubed energy. And that's a hard thing for people to understand. But just for reference, Frey was using half that energy in his experiments.
Wow. Yeah, there's a lot of theories out
so,
there from people that like low power, oh, it's low power, it can't impact you, but the Frey effect, that proves otherwise, right?
Right. And so there's so much information to cover on this. We're not going to be able to cover it during this podcast alone. We'll just hit some high notes. And if you want to talk about this or find some more information, get on the freespeechforum.com. We already posted some articles. There's a little bit of information out there.
I think there's the threads out there on
Brooks
rogue
on
directed
there.
energy attacks. Specifically,
Yep.
if you search that on the freespeechforum.com, it'll take you straight to us. So check
and
it out.
we can I'd be happy to talk to people about it on there. And I think an important thing is just knowing this is out there, and something you need to pay attention to and potentially protect yourself from. If you're in a foreign country or something, because in the US, the FCC controls which waveform, which electromagnetic energy gets transmitted. And The waveforms that come off of the standard devices like Wi-Fi routers, cell phone towers, are not the types of waveforms that Allan Frey was determining could have these effects on biological systems. So there's no concern that your Wi-Fi is frying your brain. So what Frey did, he did this one test on mice where he injected a fluorescent substance inside their head, not into their brain, but he had three different sets of mice where he used one thing which was called continuous wave on one of the mice, and that's kind of energy that you get off of radio signals.
Yeah, that's what you see
And
like in your
then
typical router or 5G
and then
cell
he
phone tower.
had
So,
a shield over one set of the mice, kind of like their aluminum hats,
hmm
uh, kind of like a Faraday cage, which you're familiar with, right?
right.
And so, and then the final set of mice, he used pulsed energy on them. So rather than continuous radio waves, he was sending out these little pulses of energy very fast, very low power, but very fast. And what he found from his study is he did an X-ray on these mice after the fact, and that fluorescent chemical had leaked into the brains of the mice that had been hit with that pulsed energy, very low power pulsed energy. And he also found that the shielded mice, there was a small effect. It wasn't near as much. It was greatly reduced. And the ones that were hit with the CW waves, which is more like what you'll see in the general environment, there was no effect. So we do have some technology, out in the public realm that is pulsed energy, but the type of energy they transmit is not what he was using in his study.
Okay. And it's like
So,
the
so
FCC, they really try to protect humans by
right,
not allowing equipment to operate in these parts of the spectrum that could really impact people. But, a foreign military, they could get their hands on this and use this in a battlefield situation.
yep, theoretically, yep. And so this kind of crosses. We get to this point where there's this claim of this huge conspiracy theory, but maybe it's not a real conspiracy after all.
Yeah, we didn't
I
really hit
think,
on that. This all really stems from 2016. Uh, in Havana, Cuba, there were some U.S. diplomats that were in the embassy, and they reported having, headaches, ringing in their ears. They were having cognitive issues, and that's what really sparked all this information coming out. Talking about rogue-directed energy attacks.
and it seemed like Alan Fry knew exactly the mechanism that could cause this. And I think even the State Department came out and said the idea of it being electromagnetic energy is plausible.
Yeah,
A lot of
we got
people
a
think,
video here.
yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, it's gonna break down and it's gonna admit proof to this actually before 2016.
2014, NSA finally gives me a document. The National Security Agency confirms that there is intelligence information from 2012, 4 years before Havana, associating the hostile country to which Mr. Beck traveled in the late 1990s with a high-powered microwave system weapon that may have the ability to weaken, intimidate, or kill an enemy over time and without leaving evidence. The 2012 intelligence information indicated that this weapon is designed to bathe a target's living quarters in microwaves, causing numerous physical effects, including a damaged nervous system. And this is the document that the U.S. government, the NSA, the CIA, and others need to respond to and say, what did you mean by this?
Interesting stuff.
Interesting. And so, what he was saying is very high energy could cause these effects. And I mean, I think in general, people know that, because you put things in microwaves and it cooks them. So if you're going to transmit very high power at people, it would hurt them. There is no doubt about that. But it would take a lot of technology to sneak in something to maybe a hotel room to do that kind of thing. What Dr. Fry was saying is you can have very low power small technology that can cause the exact effects that these people are seeing here. And so, like I said, we can't go through all the details here. There's just not enough time. But I just want to say, as an expert in this field, with documents, I can say that all this is very plausible, and it's not the mechanism that people talk about generally publicly. Even Frey has a chapter in here where he talks about how these waveforms, certain waveforms, can influence the dopamine system. Dopamine is the chemical in your brain that lets you, influences how you feel. So if you can use electromagnetic energy to influence how somebody feels, you can change their behavior. Rather than even physically hurting them, you can change the way they emotionally feel or act. So this would be something I would love to spend a career or do a lot more research on, but I love talking about it, and maybe over time we can do a full series on this. You could almost have a full channel dedicated to it. But like Joe Rogan, if you want an expert to come talk to you, I'm here.
You're the
You can
guy.
find me on you can find me on the freespeechforum.com. If you have questions, come ask us there. I don't know if you hear the sound in the background, but that's my cat fighting with wrapping paper.
It's good stuff.
Here's this asshole. And I got my Christmas sweatshirt because it's around Christmas time. But catch us on the Free Speech Forum. We like goofing off. We like talking about important things. Brooks, thanks for letting me come on. I have papers and papers on this.
Yeah, man.
I love science.
We'll have to do part 2 of Havana Syndrome. Do this again.
Absolutely, anytime. Maybe we can get more detail next time. But thanks for having me on so much.
Yeah, and come to the freespeechforum.com, and also please like our video, hit subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss any future podcasts, and keep watching them, and we'll keep making them.
Sounds good, man. I'll see you soon.
All right. See you guys next time.